seeing the quantum perspective, when we can look outside of ourselves, which we are generally doing 90% of the time, 99.9% of the time for a lot of people, 90% of the time for some people. We're all on different levels of understanding. We're all connecting in different ways to reality and perceiving reality in different ways. Ways or waves? That's a good question. So from a quantum perspective is when we look at life and understand that we are only a droplet in humanity that has and will always exist. No matter what happens to humanity, the vibrational force that we were all created from will always connect back to its droplet within its source of truth. So for a lot of us, we have been, you could say, confined with our beliefs. Now, this isn't negative, because in order to confine a belief system, you need to feed it with some kind of truth. Otherwise, that belief system will lose a hold of its imprisonment, because it will say, well, hang on a second. Why am I actually in here if what you've taught me is a load of shite? It doesn't work like that. Our connectivity can connect to, when I'm talking about connectivity, I'm talking about our understanding of truth, which we are all a part of. Our hearts are resembling the unique truth of reality, or the unique code. So in order to confine someone's thoughts or someone's belief systems, you need to give them some point of truth, because without that point of truth, eventually they'll catch on that they've been manipulated, or they're being told in false information. It's what happens. But if you can give someone a point of truth, or a little bit of truth, you can convince someone that that's all of the truth. Now, this is very powerful, because if you look around, you'll see this in everyday scenarios, is that if you give someone a little bit of truth, but not all the truth, you can give them 10% or 20% truth and 80% shite. But because they're resembling, their hearts and their minds are connected to 20% truth, you can then convince that person that that's the 100% truth, and that's everything, and that you need to go out into society and convince or spread this 80% shite, because you have 20% truth. You feel, you resemble that truth, and you believe that it's all the truth, and you go out and you share it with everyone, but all you're really sharing is you're sharing 20% truth. And there's a lot of good examples. I don't want to go into anything specific, but you look around these days and you start to resemble that, he's talking 80% shite, but he does have 20% truth. And truth takes form of anything that's pure, or anything that's resembles truth. Truth is a beautiful word, because there's nothing that we can really put it against in life. What is truth itself? Truth is knowledge within the highest form of consciousness, or knowledge within the highest form of consciousness. Truth doesn't have any intentions. Truth doesn't have any intentions. It only has love. You can put it, you could explain it in English fairly well that way. So, when we go out into the world, when we start to understand that we can generate an acknowledgement to words, wisdom, and actions, and within this acknowledgement, we can start to form a connection through our hearts with accepting but not judging, and realizing that everyone has their own place in the world, and so do we. But what we can do is just start to acknowledge and represent a sense of presence, and start to understand why we're feeling the way we're feeling.